Hello everyone, I'm Yvonne, a children's librarian here at the Manchester City Library, and I want to welcome you to Elementary Experiments this winter. Here we are going to do experiments and activities aimed at elementary grades 1 through 6 with a focus on STEAM or science, technology, engineering, arts, or math. With school and winter breaks, we know that everyone has things to do, so we will continue to post 2 elementary experiments here online and then do them together on the last Tuesday of the month at 3:30 p.m. at the Manchester City Library. So if you want to join us in person, do please go to our website to register to make sure that we have enough supplies and crafts for everyone. So we are continuing to post here to share our crafts and activities with as many people as possible. But if you are in grades 1 through 6 and you like what you see, remember that we will be doing our monthly wrap up in person on the last Tuesday of each month. So now that we have gotten all of that covered, let's get into this week's elementary experiments. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's elementary experiments, where we are going to be looking at winter sports. More specifically, we're going to be looking at skiing, snowshoeing, and snowboarding. So basically how humans have figured out to stay on top of the snow instead of sinking into it and having to push their way through all the time. And how we stay on top of it also can help us go really fast down hills or across long distances. But we are going to be looking at both how we do that, stay on top of the snow, and a little bit of the physics of that, as well as some of the design aspects in our craft. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything we need for our activity, and then I will meet you right back here. All right, so here we are with our activity, which is walking on snow. So what I have gathered is this deep glass dish. This is a casserole dish, but you can use anything that'll work for you, baking pan, plate, pie dish, just so long as you can use your flour to put in about like 3/4 of an inch or thereabout of snow, or more if you want. Just make sure that it can stay in the dish and it doesn't get everywhere. And I am going to use flour, but you could also use other sort of, snow-like substances, like baking soda. I don't know if everyone watching this watched our first video of this winter, where we actually made different kinds of fake snow. So for this one, I do want a really powdery snow, but I know one of our test fake snows was actually baking soda and water, which makes like a more wetter, compactable snow. But since most of the time when you ski or snowshoe, you are dealing with a more powdery snow, or that's kind of what you want a little bit more, that's what we're going to do, and that is why I am using the flour. I also have Spider-Man here, who is going to be helping me. He is going to be the person wearing my snowshoes / skis. But basically you just want an action figure, a character who can stand up and whose feet are not like right together. Like, you want a little bit of a space so that you can see how humans would stand on skis. Because like if you just sort of stand there and you look down at your feet, they're not like right together, right? They're spaced a little bit apart. So we want some sort of plastic action figure or doll who can kind of stand up with that little bit of space for our test. I also want to remind everyone to get permission to do this with our dolls, because we are going to be using some tape or some glue on the doll's feet. I'm using tape because I think that's a little bit safer even. But even if it's your own doll, you might want to double check that putting tape on their feet is not going to hurt the doll or action figure, because that might make you sad later on. And we just want to have fun and not be sad later. But Spider-Man is going to be completely safe to do this for us. So he is going to stand by. I have my tape, like I mentioned. I have my little thing of cardboard that I'm going to use to smooth the snow. They do that on like ski lifts, or even if you guys have ever seen or read about the Zamboni on like ice for like hockey and figure skating. This is going to be our winter sports smoother device. I also have scissors, and I have some cardstock in Spider-Man colors to create the skis that we're going to test out. I'm going to take my action figure, my Spider-Man, and I'm going to put him in the flower. Oops. And then he decided to make a snow angel. But, let's see, let's put him in. All right. So, Spider-Man here is not super heavy, but he does sink in at least up to his ankles. I don't know if you guys can see Mr. Spider-Man. If he gets a little bit more weight, if he was like more human-wise, we can see that he would be down, whoops. Oh, can he stand up on his own? He would be like all the way to his waist, right? So let's see if we can make Spider-Man some skis or snowshoes so that he has a little bit of an easier time hiking through this snowy plain. So I'm going to go ahead and try and make a pair of skis like our instructions suggest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take Spider-Man and design for him a pair of skis. Let's use the red. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trace his feet. So I know where he stands. And because our action figures are not human, they might have like a stance that they're in. Like Spider-Man, he has his feet kind of pointing outwards. So I'm going to have to think about that when I'm making him skis and figure out which way I want the ski to point as I am creating his skis. And also think about like the shape and the size of the ski, because that is going to affect what you want this ski to do, or this walking on snow equipment to do. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a quick design, and then we will attach Spider-Man and see if it works well. Okay, so I made two kind of basic pairs of skis to test out. So before I attach Spider-Man's feet to them, I thought we would do a quick tip test. So not only is Spider-Man standing on the surface, oops, but he falls over by himself, but we're going to see if it's easy to knock him over, right? So obviously my Spider-Man is a little bit like forward tipping. He kind of does that on his own. But here we're going to try tipping him backwards. All right, and then side to side. Now we are going to attach Spider-Man to his skis, and then we are going to see how that affects both how he sinks into the ground and his stability. All right, they're not the most beautiful skis, but they're on his feet. So now we're going to set him onto the snow. And if you'll look at that, my skis are doing a pretty good job because he is sitting right on top. Oops. We're losing our things. All right. And certainly getting him through is easier. Having a little bit of trouble because of my messy taping job on the bottoms. I think that I can tell why skis are super smooth on the bottom. And so if I was going to make him new skis, I think I would definitely be more careful about how I attached him to it, especially keeping the bottom smooth. But let's test how easy he is to knock over. Whoops. Well, he fell sideways. But he definitely isn't falling backwards and even forwards the way he normally falls. Really easy. He's pretty secure. Yeah. And even side to side, like he definitely still falls, but it's a little bit harder to tip him over than it was just him standing in the snow. So I'm going to leave this here as an example for you of just one way that you could do it. And I did want to talk a little bit about why all this was happening before we moved on to our craft. So as you guys probably know, that Earth's gravity pulls on us all the time. It's what keeps us on the Earth. So even when you're standing on the floor, like I am now, the gravity is pulling on us. You can see this even better if you sit on a mattress. You'll notice that if you sit on the middle of a mattress, then you kind of make a little dip, right? So if you sit on a mattress and you put like a ball next to you, the ball is very likely to roll towards you. And so if you stand up on a mattress, with most things, ask permission before you start standing on mattresses. Don't say that Yvonne told you you could. Ask first. But if you do stand on a mattress, you'll notice that your feet sink farther in. So you make a bigger dip when you're standing on a mattress than when you're sitting on a mattress. If you have that handy ball, you can do that test again and see how far away you can put the ball before it rolls towards you in both positions. Then you can try laying down on the mattress and seeing how much of a dip you create, which you can test with your handy ball again, if that's an experiment you're doing now. And so what you'll probably find is when you sit down or you lie down, your weight is distributed across a much bigger area. And so for like each square inch that your body is touching the mattress, there is a much smaller force of gravity, like per square inch, so that the mattress is compressed less over the space. So smaller square inch, your foot has more gravity concentrated on that space of the mattress. Larger square inch of space, so when you're sitting or you're laying down, the smaller the gravity per square inch is. So this is kind of what we're thinking about with skis and snowshoes and other like winter sports items that you use for snow. So it prevents you from sinking into the snow because it is spreading out the force of gravity pulling down on you over a larger amount of snow. So that is our basic explanation for why this activity, this experiment works the way that it does. Hopefully you found something similar and had some fun playing with your action figures and your fake snow. Okay, I'm gonna clean this up and meet you back here to talk about our craft. All right, welcome to our craft, where for this winter sports elementary activity week, we are going to design a snowboard. So if you are able to visit the Manchester City Library, and you're in grades of 1 through 6, or you can send someone for you, you can pick up our kit. So this week our kit includes the instructions. It includes our designed template, and it includes our snowboard. So we are using these wooden spoons as our snowboards to design on. And our design templates have outlines of the snowboard. And this is because a lot of snowboards do have like really beautiful designs on them. And people actually spend time and are paid money to come up with those designs. It's all part of making and selling the snowboards. So professional designers will sketch out different styles on templates. I mean, nowadays they usually use a computer, but we are doing it the old-fashioned way on paper. And so they test out different styles that they might want to put on actual snowboards. And they may do iterations, and an iteration is where you repeat a process or a design, but you make like small changes while you're trying to perfect it or give options. And then once they have finished all of the designs that they are want to make, they will look them over or present them if they're like working at a company. They'll go until they find one they actually want to put onto snowboards, and then they will produce those and put them on sale for everyone to buy. So I thought that we would sort of follow that process, which is why your design template has several different slots. Although I do want to remind you guys that there is a front and a back to snowboards. And so you might want to think about that when you are designing. So you might want to design a front and a back. Although we are talking about how like professional designers might do it. These are being made for you. It is your own personal snowboard. So if you want to do it a little bit different, I of course accept that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get my designs going. I have some markers, and I do want you to think about as you go, like if you're designing on your paper, think about how the coloring materials you're using are going to translate onto wood. So just keep all of these things in mind as you go through. Like I said, I'm going to stick with markers. I think that'll transfer well enough. And we'll see what happens. All right, so here we go. We have my my designs and my iterations. So first off, I started here trying to do some like sort of flame snowboard, and I was like, and I was like, you know, Spider-Man was a big help in our activity, so maybe I'll make a Spider-Man snowboard. So I tried doing the front here and the bottom here, and I really liked the bottom, but I wasn't sure about the top, so I tried doing it again here with like a different spider web. And then again here with the color change and the slightly different spider web again. And I think I do like my final design here and this one here for the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do my best to do that on the wood. I've been doing mostly with markers, but also we do have pencils, and I think I am going to use a pencil to sort of put on my final design on my snowboard before putting in the markers, just to try and be a little bit more careful. So we'll see how that goes. Alright, so here is my snowboard. So what I'm going to do, no, alright, hold on. Alright, so here is my snowboard. I think it turned out pretty well and pretty close to how I designed it. What you can do once you have finished your design and you've gotten your design onto your snowboard is to actually seal it. And that means like to put a coating on your board so that the marker won't come off, especially if you plan on playing with this in any sort of actual snow or water. Like I used washable markers. So if I were to play with this in the snow, not only would the wood get wet, but the color would come off. So I have some dishwasher safe, so like waterproof Mod Podge that I think I'm gonna go ahead and put on my board. You can also use like other kinds of sealants. I would say that if you are going to seal your board with something if you're going to cover your board with something to keep it safe, I would ask an adult what you should use and how to be safe while you use it. Because some sealants either release like dangerous or at least smelly chemicals into the air, and obviously you want to have a surface that is safe to use them on. Both of these things mean we should discuss it with an adult before we do it. So I'm going to go ahead and take my Mod Podge with my brush. And we're going to see how that dries and then apply it to the other one, and we'll see how that goes. So I hope that you guys learned a little bit something about how the design process can work. And I hope that you enjoyed making a few different ideas for your snowboards. This is our last video of the month, so I do want to remind everyone that at the last Tuesday of this month, we are going to be doing these activities and crafts in person at the Manchester City Library, and I will bring some Mod Podge. So if you even if you picked up a craft and did it, but you want to come in person, then we can put some sealant on it at the library if that's something you want to do, as well as to do our activities if you did not have all the ingredients or materials at home. So yeah, think about that while we wait for this to dry. I'm going to clean up everything else and then be right back. All right, so thank you guys so much for joining me for this winter sports elementary experiments. Again, remember that we are going to be going ahead and doing our in-person elementary experiments at the Manchester City Library for everyone who's in grades 1 to 6 to sign up and come in at 3:30 on Tuesday, February 28th. To do all of these cool activities and crafts in person. So that's the ones that we did in this video and the ones in the previous video. So we will be making our, I think it was the edible slime, as well as having our heart boxes. So we're doing a lot of design work as well as getting a little bit messy. And this last week in February and the first week in March is also school vacation week. So double check the Manchester City Library calendar to see what other cool things that we are having going on this week. I know it's a lot, but I hope that I will see you in person for elementary experiments. But if not, then I hope to see you again here on the first Tuesday of next month, which is going to be the 7th of March. So until then, have fun, be safe, and learn some things. Bye.